My father moved our family from Wilmette, Illinois, a suburb outside of Chicago, to Nashville in the winter of 1965. I grew up in a sprawling ranch house on an acre of wooded property in the new neighborhood development of West Meade. My father worked in advertising, and his first job was in the LNC Tower, for a very long time the tallest building in downtown Nashville. When I was a little girl, my mother bought homegrown tomatoes from the back of a pickup truck in front of Sperry's restaurant on Harding Road, and just picked Georgia peaches from the back of a pickup truck on Charlotte Pike. There was a similar truck on the side of some road loaded with fat, juicy ears of white and yellow non-GMO corn. She bought steaks cut by real butchers from the Green Hills Meat Market that we'd grill out over charcoal in the backyard. This was farm-to-table eating, but we just called it dinner. When I was a little girl on the way home from Sunday school at Westminster Presbyterian Church, we'd stop at Moon Drugs, and my mother let me get a big square cinnamon sucker if I'd been good. The cafeteria ladies at Brookmead Elementary School made our lunches from scratch. The white macaroni and cheese and yeast rolls were my favorites, and I loved the peanut butter bars so much that I begged my mother to get the recipe from Mrs. Vincent, and she did. The recipe had to be cut down from 400 to 40. From time to time, the peanut butter bars show up on menus at Marche Artisan Foods. When I was a little girl, my father took my brother and me to Howard Johnson's that overlooked the I-40 interstate off Charlotte Pike for ice cream on Saturday afternoons after we'd finished our chores of stacking his two-a-day newspapers, the Banner and the Tennessean. We ate big scoops of chocolate and vanilla ice cream out of glass bowls. My friends and I rode our bikes down Davidson Road to Todd's Market to spend our allowance on chocolate bars, Super Bubble, and penny candy. Our maid Mary gave me my first stick of chewing gum. My mother was not pleased. Willie, the harbor master at Commodore Yacht Club on River Road, where my dad docked his Chris Craft, gave me my first knee-high grape soda in a heavy glass cold bottle out of the machine. My mother was not pleased about that either. Previously, we were only allowed to drink orange juice made from concentrate, tap water, or milk, and on occasion, some instant Lipton iced tea. She feared the knee-high was a gateway to Sprite, Dr. Pepper, and Coke. When I was a little girl, we ate most of our meals as a family around the kitchen table. My mother was a good cook, and we ate well. Pot roast, baked chicken, even tuna casserole tasted good. But when she didn't feel like cooking, Dad would treat us all to dinner at Shoney's Big Boy. And for dessert, I got a slice of famous strawberry pie with whipped cream squirted right out of the can. Every now and again, my parents arranged for a sitter, got all dressed up, and went out to dinner without us. My mother would choose a dress with matching shoes and handbag, spritz herself generously with Estee Lauder, select a pair of earrings and a necklace, and then put on her face. My father was always well put together man, in a dinner jacket and tie with dress shoes and a fresh shave, leaving the scent of his cologne on me and the dog after a hug goodbye. They'd try places like Blue Hawaii, an exotic restaurant on White Bridge Road with tiki torches and a thatched roof and drinks that came with little umbrellas. On occasion, we all went to the Belmead cafeteria and chose our own food from the long line of roast beef, Southern-style green beans, corn, mashed potatoes, gravy, yeast rolls, and whole trays of chess pies and chocolate cakes, just waiting to be taken to the table in the grand dining room. When I was a little girl, my mother would sometimes take me on her errands. Next door to the H.G. Hill grocery store, there was a drugstore and a post office, and separated by a little picket fence was the Picnic Cafe, where they had blue and white plates on the wall and served chicken salad sandwiches with cranberry jello mold and tea punch and coconut cake. I still go there today and have the exact same thing, a little further to the right. We would go to Shakey's Pizza after swim meets, where the pizza was hand-tossed by men in floppy white hats and flour-dusted hands, on brilliant display up the little wooden staircase behind the glass, eaten at long wooden tables with plastic red pitchers of the Demon soda. Old black and white silent films played on screen behind a stand-up piano on stage. When I was a little girl, Krispy Kreme donut was all the way across town on Thompson Lane. We drove by it when we took my father to the airport when he went out of town on business trips before I-440 or Briley Parkway were ever constructed. When I asked my mother one Saturday, how do you make donuts, it just seemed easier for her to show me. It just seemed much easier to her then to just show me how they were made than to drive all the way across town to let me watch the procession of round yeast-raised dough with a hole in the center go down the conveyor belt and plop into the hot oil to be fried golden perfection and then glazed, covered, or sugared.